Have you ever walked away from someone feeling smaller than when you arrived? No argument, no insult, just a quiet heaviness in your chest and a dull ache in your spirit. That's not always a bad day. Sometimes that's a sign you've been standing too close to someone whose energy erodes you. And here's the thing, spiritual harm isn't always loud. It's often polite, smiling, even helpful until you realize the cost. If you've ever felt this, tap the like button, because here on Elderly Active Life, we share daily stories and lessons to help you protect your mind, body, and spirit from subtle harm. Today, I want to walk you through 10 quiet, almost invisible signs that someone might be harming you spiritually. Not the obvious ones, the ones you can miss for years, until you wake up one day and wonder where your light went. So let's start. Sign number 1, the silent drain, taking without asking. Imagine you're a candle in a dark room. Your flame is steady, your light warm. Someone sits beside you, not to light their own candle, but to hover close, taking just enough of your glow to keep them warm. Over time, your wax burns faster, your flame weakens, and you don't even notice until you're flickering. I saw this with a man named Halden, a cousin of a close friend. He never asked for money or favors, just company. But every visit turned into hours of venting about his disappointments, his bad luck, his endless grievances. He didn't want advice. He didn't want solutions. He wanted a witness to his pain again and again. And I've met people like Maura, too. A neighbor who always seemed to drop by on the days I had the least energy, pulling me into her spirals about feuds from 15 years ago. I'd promised myself not to get pulled in, yet an hour later I'd be emotionally wrung out. The silent drain isn't a one-time thing. It's a pattern. They rarely refill your spirit, but they always take from it without a word of thanks, without the awareness that you're not an endless well. Pause for a moment. Who in your life leaves you consistently emptier than they found you? That's not connection, that's quiet depletion. Sign number 2, the whisper divider, corroding trust grain by grain. Some people ruin relationships in whispers, never shouts. They won't say, "Don't trust her." They'll say, "I'm sure she means well, but I'd keep an eye on her if I were you." And suddenly, you start looking for cracks that weren't there before. I remember Everett, always smiling, always helpful. Over coffee one morning, he leaned in and said, "I heard Malcolm's been talking about you. I'm not saying it's true, but you deserve to know." He never gave details, never proof, just enough to plant doubt. And I once knew a woman named Fenella who would praise a friend in public, then quietly question their loyalty in private. She did this to everyone, keeping us all just suspicious enough of each other that she was the only person we fully trusted. The whisper divider's goal is isolation. If you doubt everyone else, they become your sole confidant. And when that happens, they hold all the power. Sign number 3, the comfort collector, needing you broken. Have you noticed some people love you more when you're struggling than when you're thriving? Corinne was one of the most attentive friends I ever had when I was in pain. She'd bring meals, sit with me, pray for me. But the moment I started healing, smiling again, making plans, her warmth faded. Compliments turned into subtle jabs. She was comfortable being my rescuer, not my equal. Then there was Lionel, a co-worker who always offered support when my projects failed, but disappeared the second I succeeded. If my work was praised, he'd joke that I was getting too big for my boots. The comfort collector builds their identity around your weakness. Your strength feels like rejection to them. Sign number 4, the boundary bender, testing your limits. You say, "I'm resting today." They reply, "I'll just pop in for a minute." You decline an invitation, and they show up anyway. You share a personal limit, and they laugh it off like a cute quirk. Lowell once told me, "I only push because I care." But the truth was, my no was a challenge to him. He wasn't confused about my limits. He just didn't think they applied to him. Boundaries are spiritual fences. When someone repeatedly climbs over them, they're telling you they see your life as open land for their use. If any of these feel familiar, subscribe to Elderly Active Life. We post daily to help you protect your energy, keep your body strong, and live with clarity. Sign number 5, the identity thief, copying, then corrupting. At first, it feels flattering. They laugh like you, adopt your catchphrases, and try your hobbies. But then you notice they're not just inspired by you. They're replacing you. Hortense mirrored everything I did. My style, my routines, even my favorite coffee order. But months later, she started telling others that I'd changed and wasn't the same person she'd first met. Identity thieves borrow your light to build their own image, then subtly convince others that you're the one imitating them. Sign number 6. The guilt leash, controlling without force. You step back for your own peace, and they say, "So you're abandoning me now?" You say no to a request, and they sigh. "After everything I've done for you?" I've watched guilt keep people tied to draining relationships for decades. One friend, Janora, stayed connected to a cousin who belittled her constantly because every time she tried to set limits, he reminded her of how he took her in after a bad breakup 10 years ago. Love doesn't need shackles. If guilt is the glue holding your relationship together, it's not love, it's bondage. Sign number 7. The quiet anxiety trigger, when your body knows first. No argument, no drama. Yet when they walk in, your chest tightens, your thoughts blur, and your stomach knots. With my old colleague Renwick, this happened at every meeting. He never raised his voice, but he was always playing invisible chess, nudging people into decisions that benefited him while smiling the whole time. Your spirit often senses danger before your mind can explain it. Don't ignore that signal. Sign number 8. The inverted cheerleader, sulking at your success. Felix was the first to show up when I was grieving. He called, visited, and prayed with me. But when I later shared good news, a project I'd been dreaming of, his smile faded. "Must be nice," he said flatly, then changed the subject. The inverted cheerleader thrives in your shadows, not your sunlight. Their comfort zone is your struggle because your wins remind them of their own stalled dreams. Sign number 9. The light resistor avoiding truth. It's not always about religion. Sometimes it's about energy. When you speak peace, they stir chaos. When you offer truth, they dodge it. I knew a man named Dorian who would change the subject anytime hope or healing came up. He'd laugh off meaningful conversations as too deep. But really, light was uncomfortable for him. It showed too much. If you're starting to picture people while hearing this, share this video. You might help someone recognize a spiritual drain before it's too late. Sign number 10. The self-erosion specialist, shrinking you. They don't smash your confidence in one blow. They chip at it. They call your dreams cute. Your feelings are dramatic. Your goals are unrealistic. Over time, you stop sharing your heart with them because you already know the script. Dismissal, sarcasm, or mockery. And you shrink. Not because you've lost your dreams, but because you've learned it's safer not to speak them aloud. The self-erosion specialist is dangerous because their harm feels small in the moment, but years later, you realize they've hollowed you out. Protecting your spirit is not selfish, it's essential. Some people are only meant to walk part of your journey. Don't drag them into chapters they were never written for. If this spoke to you, subscribe to Elderly Active Life. We post daily to keep your body strong, your mind clear, and your spirit unshaken. And remember, your light is sacred. Guard it fiercely,